Greetings all and welcome to Dave's Craft Room. I'm Dave, and on today's video we're talking about neckties because I have gone on eBay and bought 3 boxes of neckties, vintage, and we're gonna make a quilt out of the neckties. We may even make 2 quilts or 3 quilts. I really don't know how many quilts we're gonna get out of these. I already opened this one when I was in the car, but first thing, we're gonna do an unboxing. I already opened this one, but I haven't opened the other 2. I didn't really look inside. Oh my gosh, these are beautiful. This eBay lot was 17 vintage men's neckties, lot wide mix. And they are so beautiful. I don't have an overhead camera. My GoPro is dead right now, so I'm just gonna show you, but I don't feel bad about cutting them up at all. People had their chance to wear them, and they ended up in an eBay lot, so obviously nobody really wanted them that bad. And I feel perfectly fine cutting them up. I mean, most of them are ugly. Should I switch to an overhead camera? Yeah, I guess I need to switch to an overhead camera. All right, so here we go with our first lot of 17. I mean, this is beautiful. It's beautiful in the sense that, like, it's ugly, but I love it. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The King of Clubs. Hand wash, drip dry, no pressing. Yeah, we're not gonna follow the rules. I do not answer to clothing tags. Love that. These are, what, maple leaves? Stunning. This has like columns on it, pillars. Beautiful. Ooh, I love this. She's gorgeous. Nice. Guys, I don't know about my taste. I think I'm like really attracted to ugly things. Which doesn't bode well if someone ever asks me what I think of their art and I say I like it. Okay. This is kind of like a huge paisley print that's nice. Stripes. Probably my least favorite just because it's a little drab. So that was the 17 ties lot. Here goes the huge lot of 35 vintage men's neckties. Sorry, I'm trying to cover my address. Okay, let me smell it. It smells like a Goodwill. All right, okay. Oh, I really love this dark cerulean. Every teal I call cerulean. Okay, I absolutely love this. Look at this tie. This is horrible. I absolutely love it. It is so bad. I almost don't want to cut this one up. I want to keep it for whenever I have to go to a event where I have to wear a tie, but I really want to look bad. Oh my gosh. This is so stunning. I love it. I love it so much. We have some Chinese characters on this. This is a really cheap tie. Oh, I kind of like it though. So, I don't know if you guys at home know this, but these Chinese characters, if you would hang it up like this, they're upside down. This is the right side up. I'll put it that way in the quilt. Stunning. I don't know what decade this is. Comment below with the timestamp. What decade does this conjure for you? For me, it's like, it might be in the 90s, it might be the 70s, it might be the 80s, I don't know. Maybe I'm not very great at like fashion decades, but comment below, what decade do you think this one is from? What are these? Are these bow ties? I do not know how to tie a bow tie. Yeah, comment below because I honestly have no idea what these are. So that was 35 ties lot. Also, do you love my necktie around a t-shirt? It's very Avril Lavigne 2002. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wash these because they are disgusting. And you might be thinking, oh, you can't wash a tie. Yes, you can. You can put a tie in the washing machine. You can put it in the dryer. I know because I've done it. And furthermore, if it gets destroyed in the washer, I can't use it in a quilt. I'm going to wash these in the washer. I'm not gonna be gentle on them. They need to go through it. They need to prove to me that they can go through it and handle the washer. If they can't, and the dryer, if they can't go in the quilt. Because I want a quilt that you can wash and dry as well. So I'm gonna do that. And at this current moment, I do not have a very specific plan, but I have the rumblings of one. It's rumbling, okay? This to me looks like enough to yield multiple quilts out of it. I really don't know that for sure until I wash them, cut them, flatten them all out, and stabilize. No, I'm not gonna stabilize them. Do you know why? Instead of stabilizing them, the way I'm gonna make the quilt is by sewing them onto foundations. By sewing them onto the foundation is gonna act as the stabilizer. And I won't have to use all my stabilizer. Instead, I can use ugly fabric. They're gonna be foundation blocks. It's gonna be so much better because they're gonna be stable, because the fabric is stable. That's the key. This fabric is not stable at all. And it's all of different thicknesses, and I don't wanna have to worry about the, what's that called? The stretchiness, you know how it stretches in different directions? By sewing it to a foundation, I don't have to worry about that at all. So that's what I'm gonna do. But first I'm gonna wash it. Hot, heavy soil, high spin speed, extra rinse, pre-soak. It's gonna take an hour and a half. After the ties came out of the washer and dryer, I took the seam ripper to them and pretty much just ripped everywhere that had a seam, and then I ironed them flat. I don't know how long it took, and I didn't do all the ties either. I just did the ties that I was going to need for this quilt. If a seam was annoying me and wouldn't come undone easily, I would just cut it. I settled on this striped block, and I have my stack of foundation squares. These are the same ones I used in my vintage inspired crazy scrap blocks quilt. I made most of the stripes 1.5 inches, and then some blocks had stripes of different lengths to show more of the tie and to add interest. It wasn't actually that easy to use the foundations because the tie fabric is so wibbly wobbly. Eventually I switched to the iron-on interfacing, and I ended up doing both methods in the quilt, as well as I also tried starch later. I'll talk about the best method to use for neckties later in the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I publish new quilt videos every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so we're back and I have the blocks done. 6 blocks by 7, however many that is. 49, 42. 42, they're all this big. This is 9.5 inches. They're this big because I own this ruler. And the final verdict on working with the ties is it is horrible, but ultimately I think I got into a flow with it. I enjoyed it overall. I tried 3 different methods. In the beginning, I only introduced one way, which worked. I started by sewing them to a foundation, and that worked. It's just that it was frustrating to work with the strips of necktie material in the meantime. What are ties even made out of? Silk and polyester. The silk and polyester, I don't know if any of these were real silk or if most of them were probably polyester. But working with the strips and sewing them onto the foundation is probably the best if I could get it to work. The strips kind of want to go wonky as you're working with them in that meantime. And then the ending is that it's not square. You have to square it up and some of the lines might not be straight. I'm fine with it. I mean, I didn't continue to do that. I switched at one point to ironing on this interfacing. And that works well as well. It's just that, number one, you're using interfacing. I like to use this sparingly because it's expensive and I don't, this is all that I have of it. I can't buy any more here. I have to buy it online. So I use it for t-shirt quilts. I have claimed before that it doesn't make your quilts too stiff, and I stand by that for t-shirt quilts because you're using a panel of it. But in a block like this, you have all these seams, and that's creating so much bulk. You got 2 layers of this plus 2 layers of your fabric, so that's adding a lot of bulk and a lot of stiffness to the quilt. So that's the downside. But the positive side is that it works very well at keeping your tie material from shifting. The third thing I tried, and it works, is the starch. This is heavy starch, and that works quite well as well. There is still some give to it, but I mean, doesn't all fabric kind of at least stretch a little bit? I'm not really sure how I feel about it. The verdict is still out on the starch. Yes, it works, but I don't really like a stickiness. It's got like a mess kind of to it, and also the time of waiting for it to dry, or you can iron it but then it gets on your iron. And also when you starch something, it shrinks. So I don't know what that's gonna mean when I finish quilting it and I wash it and it unshrinks. Is it gonna be and I'm gonna quilt it, but is there gonna be weird puffy spots where it came unshrunk? I don't know. We'll find out. But either way, I'm gonna put these blocks on the design wall now and sew them up. I've decided how to finish this quilt. I'm gonna put the backing and batting on and then turn it inside out. There's not gonna be a binding because I can't think of what binding I would want to use. I don't feel like sewing a binding on really. So there's not gonna be a binding. I'm gonna do it the inside out way that I've done before. And then I'm gonna quilt it however I quilt it, I guess. I don't know yet. So let's get these on the design wall.
So this is the final result. I really like it. I definitely think it was worth it. And I plan to make more quilts out of the neckties. So stay tuned, like the video, and subscribe to my channel, and please come again.